Now, supermarkets have been taking extra security measures to try and prevent theft as shoplifting continues to rise.
It comes as baby formula has been pictured behind the counter in Sainsbury's alongside cigarettes and alcohol to prevent stealing.
Well, joining us now to discuss this is the Communications Director for the Association of Convenience Stores, Chris Noice. Good morning to you. I was reading about this morning. 1 in 3 admitting to shoplifting, with 63% of those saying this was due to the cost of living.
Yeah, well, that certainly does happen. But what our members are telling us is actually the main causes of shop theft are two things. They're people that are dealing with a substance or addiction problem, or they're people that are organised groups that are stealing to sell on. So yes, there are. I'm sure it does happen. There are people that are stealing because of the cost of living, but that is not the majority of what our retailers are seeing and what our retailers are telling both us and the police.
What can shopkeepers do then to beat this?
It's really tough. It's really, really tough. And the first thing we say always is people are more important than property. We know that shop theft and challenging shop thieves is the #1 cause of abuse for colleagues in stores. So we say don't necessarily try to intervene yourself, don't challenge, but absolutely report it to the police. And then they will deal with the most appropriate intervention. If that person isn't someone who's dealing with addiction, the intervention is not from the police. The intervention is rehabilitation and to stop repeat offending. That's ultimately what we're trying to do, whether it's custodial sentences, whether it's fines, whether it's rehabilitation, whether it's just helping people that are struggling. Stopping repeat offending is ultimately the goal, because that's what is a real problem for convenience store retailers and of course, supermarkets as well.
What we've been hearing is that some shop owners have decided against calling the police because it simply just takes too much time away from stacking the shelves, serving customers. The whole process slow, laborious, often waiting on the phone for long periods of time, waiting for that crime reference. And it's just having to go unreported as a result.
Yeah, that's something that goes across both theft and abuse, really. So, yeah, retailers on the phone for 45 minutes, an hour, waiting, as you say, just for a crime number, and they get fed up with it. I mean, lots of retailers are dealing with theft every single day, and it gets to a point where you think, do I have an hour to spend on the phone dealing with this? But the problem is you then get into a vicious circle where retailers aren't reporting it, and then the police don't think that there's as much of a problem as there really is. And then we just go round and round. And then what happens is the people that are stealing get more confident, they get more brazen. There's then theft with abuse. There's then robberies, burglaries, violence, more serious incidents. And then certainly the police will have to deal with that as it escalates. So if you can tackle the problem at source, and I know it's a pain, but try to report incidents when they happen. And I think we're all agreed that theft is a crime. It should be dealt with as a crime. And so we should encourage all retailers to report and all reports to be followed up.
Time for shopkeepers at the moment generally?
It's been a really difficult time. The retailers have had a real shock with energy costs, as I'm sure all the watchers on the programme have as well. But thousands of retailers were looking at whether or not they should be able to keep the doors open and the lights on over winter. The government's intervention on that has been helpful, but it's come as part of rising costs all across the business. And then when you put shop theft and abuse on top of that, it is an extremely difficult time for convenience retailers, but they do have the support and the help of their communities. And for a lot of reasons, that's why lots of retailers do it. They are embedded in their communities, and they are a force for good during difficult times like this cost of living crisis.